So I'm just finishing up a sculpt here. It's just a dragon head, dragon bust maybe you could consider it as, but it's been a long time in the making. I think I started it, oh boy, almost 4 months ago. And just finishing up some small details, skin texture, and just the last horns that are going to go up here and on the side of his head. Just finished the teeth, and again some just small texturing here and there, but turned out a little bit better actually than I thought it would be. I originally started this because I just had extra bits of armature wire left so I could only do the head of a dragon, but thought I'd just show you guys there before I finish it up. It is heavily influenced by the shape of a dinosaur head, as you can probably tell. I remember I started the sculpture not too long after watching Jurassic World this year, so I thought I'd just show you guys just me finishing up the dragon head sculpture here, and of course I still need to bake it and finalize a few more things, but it's how it looks so far, so I'll maybe video a little bit of me working on it and then get back to you when I'm about to bake it. So here's a quick tip. I'm just using some regular rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. It actually works better if it's 95, you know, higher percentages, but I've been using 70%, that's all I could find. And when you do some texturing, you can see it's a little bit rough. You get those little kind of grains of clay everywhere from just the pick or whatever tool you're using. And if you use some alcohol on either a brush or even a sometimes I'll use a sponge if I want a little bit heavier dampening on the effect. But it's very easy, just go over the texturing and it makes it look like any kind of texturing is, I guess in real life would be under the skin. Obviously you look at your texturing, you know, on your skin, on your hands, arms, whatever, and obviously it doesn't look as drawn on as if you had just, you know, done that on the clay. So once you do that, you can see it smooths it out nicely, but it keeps some of the lines just for detail and such. So I'm gonna go around and do that. So basically done. These are the little horns I've made that will go on each side of his head, as you can see there. And I just thought I'd show this real quick. This is what I've been using, Sculpey Bacon Bond. So it's basically adhesive that is kind of like a gel consistency, and it's supposed to glue you know, pieces like this when you bake it. So it needs to be baked in order to actually adhere. It's the first time I've used this, so I'm hoping that it works out well. A friend of mine who sculpts very well, better than me for sure, says this stuff works well. And this is basically what it's for, just little details like this. So all the little horns I have on my dragon here, I just put a little dab of this Bacon Bond stuff here. So hopefully it works. Usually what I use is just a little bar of metal, and I'll put, you know, I'll stick it in through each one to connect the two pieces. But if anything falls off, Sculpey is really good in that this material, this clay, when it dries or when you bake it, it is very, I guess, durable. You can crazy glue it, you can drill it, you can sand it, all that good stuff. So if anything falls off, I'll just use a dab of crazy glue. It won't be a big deal. So I'm just gonna stick on these last few pieces on my dragon here and get ready to bake it. So super excited for that. So time to bake my dragon. Right, Scout? Time to bake it? Let's go. I believe you're supposed to bake Super Sculpey at 275 Fahrenheit for 15 minutes per 1/4 inch thickness. Now, of course, this sculpture is not the same thickness all the way through, so I'll probably do it for 260-ish degrees for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and see how that works. So let's start the oven. Got some weird music going on in the background. Look at this. My dog hates the oven. As soon as I press it, whoa! And what was it? 275. $270. So this is my freshly baked dragon bust. I don't know if you can consider that a bust. There's not much chest to it, but dragon head, I guess. Now, Sculpey should not change colors after baking. So in this case, if it's light gray, it should come out the same color. If it's brown in any areas, take it out immediately because you're probably burning it. But it will look different because the sheen, that kind of oily look on unbaked Sculpey will be gone once you bake it, so it turns into this nice kind of dull matte finish, and you can kind of see that here hopefully. So quick walk around on my freshly baked dragon. Lots of spikes. I always thought dragons with more spikes looked cool. And on his, I guess his right side of the face or body, I put some kind of like battle scars. Got the broken tooth there, so that's on purpose. You got the scar that goes across his eye, which I guess in movies and such is the most generic place to put a scar to make someone look badass. You know, some slashes on his neck from maybe swords or something. And then on his left side, I just left it plain. So I think it turned out well. In hindsight, I wish I had done more of his chest, so like a full bust, but I think I mentioned before in the beginning of this video that I made this dragon head because I just had leftover armature wire lying around, so I couldn't really do that anyway. The hardest part was definitely shaping the head area and taking time to do all the horns and the teeth especially was just very time consuming, but I'm glad of how it turned out. Turned out really well. I think it looks pretty good. So that is my dragon. I don't know what I'm gonna name him yet, but not sure if I'm gonna paint him. I'm not the most skilled painter ever, and it's always, you know, amazing to watch someone who's actually really good at painting do their thing to me. So I might just leave this one in the Sculpey color, which is no big deal, but looks pretty nice. It's still warm right now. Quick note, Sculpey when it comes out of the oven will still have some flex to it. It'll only become really rock solid and stiff once it cures, so don't play around with it too much, you know, and don't poke it and stuff. So anyway, there you go, my dragon.